Okay, I'm going to show you how to make a stencil to do glass etching. So I have an order for because COVID-19 wine glass, stemless wine glass that I made over quarantine. So I'm going to show you how I did it. So I'm going to do, because COVID-19, and then for the font that I used on these, it's called Havenfield typewriter. Havenfield. Okay, it's good typewriter font. And I'm going to make it bold. Okay, it doesn't go bold apparently. Bold. Okay. So maybe this isn't the font that I used, but I like this. I don't think it's too thin. So I'm going to correct the line spacing in this by bringing this up a little. I'm hitting the down arrow on the line space. All right, and now I'm going to center this by doing alignment, drop down and do center. All right, let me play with the letter spacing just a little bit. I don't want them too close together because I'm doing glass etching. So we'll keep it right there. Now I know that my size for the wine glass, it needs to be 3 inches across. So I unlocked it down here, and then up here, I could have unlocked it right here as well. I'm going to type in 3. Okay. And I'm going to stretch this out a little bit, so it's just a little bit bigger. And then I'm going to go change this back to 3. So I moved it a little bit. All right, I'm going to lock this back. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is, this isn't really necessary, but it kind of helps me. I'm going to do a square shape. Move this to the back so I can see what I'm doing. And I want a pretty good perimeter around it, because this is going to be my guide for when I'm etching. So I don't want it too close, because I don't want the etching cream to go over this line. So I'm going to do it right there. I'm going to slice this out. I'm going to get rid of that. Get rid of that. All right. So this is what I want to send to my mat. So I'm going to hit make it. And I'm going to do continue. I'm going to use just scrap adhesive vinyl for this. You could use permanent or removable for this. Doesn't matter. Okay, so now I'm going to go over and I'm going to cut this. Time to cut. Okay, while that's cutting, hopefully I can talk loud enough to talk over the machine. This is what you're going to use. Oh, let me get it. To etch your glass. It's called Armour Etch. You can get it off Amazon. You can get it at Hobby Lobby. I think you can get it at Walmart. And I'm sure you can probably find it at Michael's and Joann's too. It's kind of expensive, but it lasts forever. I bought this like last year. So it does, and I made a lot of quarantine glasses back last year. So you'll need this. I use Dollar Tree glasses. stemless wine glasses because they're bigger than the ones you get at Walmart. And of course, we all need more wine. And then any paintbrush. I'm just using this because this is what I have. So that's probably almost done cutting. All right, and I draw the box around it so I don't get etching cream outside of the spot that I want to etch. Okay, that's done. And I just use scrap. This is why I save all my scraps. Oops. Okay. I will peel this away. And now instead of peeling, weeding the extra space, I'm weeding out the actual letters. Come on. But leaving the insides of the letters. Okay, so this is basically making a stencil. Come on. Why is this being so difficult? Right, because all right. Now that I have that done, I'm going to get out my contact paper. And I'm going to measure how big I need it. Should be good. Peel this back. All right. Place that over. Brandish it really well. I have no idea where my actual tool is, so hopefully my fingers will work for this. All right, you want to make sure it picks up the middle of the letters too. All right, so now I usually place this on my lap, but we're going to try it this way. I'm going to put it as close to the top as possible because once it gets into the curve, it can be a little tricky. So, because you don't want any ripples in this, because the etching cream will seep through. So I'm going to go press it down the middle and then push it down. All right, now these places that there's bubbles, I'm going to press down really hard and try to make sure that it's not going to leak through that. Like this is a problem. So I'm going to lift this up and try to replace that. Okay. That looks good. I'm going to press this really hard. Okay, so you can see there it's not, the crease is outside of where it connects. This because it makes me a little nervous. So I'm going to lift this and kind of smooth it as I go. Okay, that's sealed up enough that I'm okay with that. That I'm just going to press down really hard and kind of push it to make sure that seal is good. This E is not okay. So I'm going to lift and I push with my thumb as I'm laying it down to smooth out any bubbles. Okay. I think that looks okay. That D worries me. But I'm gonna scratch it with my nail. Okay. Now peel off the transfer tape. Make sure it sticks. You might want to do this slowly just to make sure everything is sticking right. All right, once you take that off, that peeled really hard for some reason. You're gonna go back and make sure all your letters still look good. Okay. Okay, so my stencil is on it now. I'm just gonna open this up. And I am just going to dip this in here. And I'm gonna paint it into the letters. You don't have to be careful about this. It can get, that's why we made sure that everything was covered really well. You want a really thick coat on it. So I'm just kind of dabbing it on and pushing it around and make sure it's covering every part of the stencil so that every letter gets etched. probably going to go over it again just to make sure I didn't miss anything and get it as thick as I can. All right. This looks pretty thick up here, so I'm not going to worry too much about that. I'm just going to hit the spots that look a little less. Let's do it from here. Okay. Now, scrape off my brush. I'm going to use this to help clean it once it's done. So I'm going to set this right here. All right, now you wait 15 minutes. The bottle says 5. I wait 15. It's not going to hurt it to sit more time than it says. We'll be back in 15 minutes to show you the next steps. Okay, it's been 15 minutes and I just rinsed it off. I just took the paintbrush and just rinsed it under water to rinse it off completely. And now I'm gonna peel this off. I didn't use soap or anything, just water. I will wash it after. Okay. Come on. Okay, now I'm just gonna dry this off and then make it so you can, okay. So now you can see if you, this is completely dishwasher safe. And there you go. That's as easy as it is to etch glass.